Twin Roots, back with another RC edition on my channel. Right now we're gonna talk about the Sprint 2. Some of the upgrades that I did to it from the stock, from when I got it from when it was stock, and some of the modifications. I don't know if anybody else has had this issue, but the stock edition of my Sprint 2, the left wheel just kind of like rattled, like goes all over the place. There's like a lot of play, like in this wheel specifically. So I did a little modification on the inside of that. I'll show y'all that. I got a fan modification that I did right there. I'll show y'all that, talk about that, because there was really no way I could really mount on the Sprint 2, a motor fan, because the belt's in the way. So, I talk about that. I got the light set up, the LED set up on there right now. Photoform body. Weighing on the GTR, with the actual light buckets. Instead of drilling these little tiny holes inside the body. I want the actual, light bucket effect. But for now, it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and take the body off. And here she is now. Looks a little different from when I got it from stock. Is what it looked like when I got it from stock, actually. And it's what it looks like now. I'll go ahead and talk about some of the modifications that I did. But before I do that, I'll just talk about some of the basic upgrades. I got stealth body mounts instead of the regular body mounts. I'm not really sure the name brand of them. I know they came from Australia. It's like 13 bucks on eBay. But I grabbed them, and I was kind of having trouble of having spots to put them. The front was too wide, so I couldn't even use the washers that came with it. It came with washers that were thick, and as it stands right now, it already pushes the old body mounts out. It pushes them out. But I got it to work, and it stays on. And in the back, the holes that it fit in was, I put it inside the old body mount. For the old post of the body mounts. That's where I screwed them into. But as that stood, I still couldn't get it. I still couldn't get it right. It kept pushing, it out. So this one on this side is a little bit crooked, or got a little bit of an angle to it. But the good thing about that is that they're adjustable all four ways. So you can correct it. Put a little level on there, get your shit level, and tighten it up. Good to go. Some of the modifications. Let's get to that. Okay. Some of the basic modifications that it has is Taser, V6, 6-pole, motor ESC combo. Okay. It's for the 1/10 scale. It's waterproof. It's brushless. I believe this one is. I'm not sure if I can get it inside there if it's on the bottom. Let me see. There it is. Yeah, but this one right here is the 4000 kV 6 pole. So more torque. The gear ratio right now is 90 carbon fiber and 22. So it's a 90 spur gear, 22 pinion gear. And what I got powering that is, it's a reaction. It's a LiPo. It's a 20C discharge, 4000 milliamp, three charge rate, 3C charge rate, 2 cell 7.4. It seems to be, perfect power output for, for the drifting, for my, my beginning ass. Another thing I got on here was, cause I do have a 3 cell battery that I run to, so I got a little, power protector there, to shut the car off in case, cause if you draw your LiPo batteries too low, you can't get them to charge. If you take, too much voltage out of them, they need each cell needs a certain amount of voltage left in it for you to charge it. And if you don't protect that, you could, end up losing your batteries. If something fails in, your ECS, your ESC, if something fails in your ESCO, for whatever reason, and it keeps drawing, the battery, this alarm right here will start going off and hopefully shut your shit off. Or I think it just, lets you know. It starts beeping like crazy and it's loud. Like, it's loud. See if I could disconnect it and show you, because it beeps when you first put it in. And you can't mistake it. And yeah, like I'm saying, if you hear that, then it's time to shut your shit off and charge your battery. So I got that, as a preventer. Other upgrades that I did, I got the see if I get that right there, the yeahracing. Now this one is the aluminum essential conversion kit, silver. Basically, your arms, it came with arms, all four. It also came with, your steering connectors, but I had already picked up, a red one. So that's another modification another ones that I had was I ended up grabbing the orange tie rods. I ended up grabbing, the yeahracing aluminum body mounts, a shock tower. That's what that is, the shock tower. So I ended up grabbing that. I remember, I was telling you how I was just shaking, just going like crazy. Well, what I ended up doing was I grabbed a piece of a copper rod, and I ended up, I'm gonna have to shut this off to show y'all. I ended up putting it connecting it to each of the bars. Now there's limited space in there, and other ways I could have done it. I could have done it with a hanger and just looped it into the hole, which is what I think I'm gonna do. I'm not, I tried this method. I mean, it works, but the problem that I'm having is that I couldn't thread the screw, because that hole is threaded. It's meant, for that. So I tried putting one of them screws in there, but that doesn't work because my fault. I don't know what happened, but that doesn't work because it tightens up the steering and doesn't allow it to turn. So I had to put a thinner screw in there with washers on each side and a lug nut. Well, every time you turn, the lug nut loosens and the whole thing ends up loosening again. So what I ended up doing for the just for the time being, because I don't feel like taking it all apart again. While I'm just playing around with it, I just put I put two of the little tiny nuts on there. I put one down to secure that one with a washer, and then another one so the first one won't loosen up. And then what I did was I put a little bead, from a glue gun, and that's just to prevent the wash. I mean the nuts from from coming loose, and it stopped that wiggling. You know, Another thing that I was having issues with was the chattering, but the yeahracing conversion kit came with universal dog bones that seemed to eliminate, the a lot of the noise that was coming from the wheels. Um, I'll go ahead and show y'all right now how it turns and how it runs. You see, as you can see, I'm not really getting any that left wheel. It's not shaking anymore, and it's only I believe I only got my speed up to 40%, or it might even be 50%. I don't know. I was messing around yesterday. It's at 60. So I got my throttle front at 60. I could throw it all the way up to 150 and get the most out of my battery and motor if I choose to. But for drifting, it's just too much. No shaking coming out of that wheel. So the modification works, and it turns fine. Even at high speeds. So for the time being, that modification worked out. But I think I'm gonna go back to the hanger and just cut a piece of hanger, spray paint it, a nice color, and fit it through there again, and just loop it all the way through. And that way there it could just turn. It could be free. I don't gotta mess with no glue, no nothing, and be done with it. Because that left wheel rattling was a pain in the ass. So that modification worked out fine. Now, as you can see over here, there's your motor. When you're running for a long time, your motor gets hot, and I like to have fun. So I'll bring my car out with 2 or 3 of these batteries in my pocket with one die, and you get like 45 minutes of runtime with that. So when one die, I just pop the other one in and keep it moving. So that's a long runtime, and there was no way I could fit a motor on here. So I'm thinking, like, how could I do it? I was even thinking of maybe just trying to install the fan itself, underneath, and raising my ride height. But it would have compromised it. It would have raised the ride height too much, and my car would have. I felt it wouldn't have been, controllable. I like my ride height to be real low when I drift. So what I came up with was I grabbed fans a while ago, cheap fans. They were like $5 a piece. I grabbed two of them, but the thing was that they were, two. It came two fans on each one. So I'm thinking like, okay, how could I do this? And I took one of the top plates that came on it, because it came a top plate that held both motors, just like this right here, because that's actually on two top plates. It's just the carbon fiber tape is covering it. You can see it's blue. Well, this one's blue, and then the top plate that this one on is purple. There it is right there. See, you can see it. It's purple. So what I did was I just took it, I bent a little bit over right here. I made a 90-degree bend and screwed it in. Well, actually, my fault. I had to take this plastic piece first and screwed it into this plastic piece, because this plastic piece fit perfectly. It had already holes marked perfectly that fit right into the stealth body mount, screws. So the screw goes through this plastic piece that holds the fan. It's real thin, and holds the body mount. It goes through the plastic piece, through the shock tower, and then holds the stealth body mount. And that's how I mounted that. And I just, bent it over, and I took the other top plate from the purple fan and added it, on the second fan section of this one, which gave me the two fans, you know, cooling off. And I could feel, it's, nice cold air, blowing down there. I mean, it's kind of far from the motor itself, but it's the best I could do, you know, under the circumstances. At least something's getting blown down there, instead of, it just running hot all the time. I know it's all hairy and shit, man. It's from my damn dog. I be running in the house trying to adjust certain, trying to get it to, ride the way I want to ride it, man. And when I get on the rug and shit, man, that shit just kicks up everywhere. It gets all over the freaking car. But yeah, that's about it, man. I'm gonna upgrade this, the servo. Um, so one of the next things that's gonna be upgraded on the car is gonna be aluminum front shock tower, then carbon fiber, or I might get, aluminum top plate. I'm really considering the carbon fiber top plate. After the carbon fiber top plate, these side motor mounts, I'm gonna grab an aluminum. Besides that, as far as performance, the only thing that I need to do is get coilover shocks. For right now, anyway, I want to grab coilover shocks, and sooner or later I'll end up upgrading, the motor and the ESC combo. But as of right now, that's what's working, and I'm even considering about making this into a rear wheel drive conversion. And see how that goes. Taking the belt off. That's how the Sprint 2 looking, guys. Alright, man. Keep them racing, man, however you do it. Thinking about changing my spur and pinion gear ratio, too. I'm thinking about going with, either a 87 tooth or 82 tooth with a 26, pinion. Alright, guys. It's Twin Roots. with the sprint tool and the photoform. Peace.